You wanna run it two in one night? What's up? You wanna run it two in one night? Absolutely. You wanna run it?
This way, what's going on? You want to run it twice in one night. What's going on? You want to run it only twice in one night. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. Floyd Mayweather has threatened to stop Jake Paul if Mike Tyson doesn't perform well in their fight. All eyes are now on November 15th, and although officially sanctioned, the controversial contest between 58-year-old Tyson will have laxer restrictions than a regular fight if all goes according to plan. I hate to be the one to break the bad news, but Mike Tyson and Jake won't ever go into the ring, according to two-time welterweight world champion Shawn Porter, asserting that the Tyson matchup was never realistic to begin with. Paul Porter speculates that Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who triumphed on the same card as Paul and Perry and obtained the WA's endorsement to fight Paul for a championship, would replace Tyson as Paul's opponent. Porter stated that he saw Chavez Jr. doing it and speculated that he could return to Freddie Roach so they could perform magic once more. Even from a business perspective, I feel that Mike and Jake didn't make sense, even to the lowest common denominator. I don't make the decisions. I just don't think Mike should step into the ring. The UFC champion Sean Ali believes that Jake Paul will defeat Mike Tyson because the YouTuber defeated Mike Perry on Saturday night in Florida. After submitting former UFC fighter and bare-knuckle world champion Perry 3 times, the referee stopped the fight. Paul will now concentrate on getting ready for his rescheduled bout with heavyweight legend Tyson. Paul will be 30 years younger than the age of 58. In their impending match, which is scheduled for 8 two-minute rounds later this year, Tyson is predicted to be the overwhelming favorite. If the fight goes on, Ali believes Paul will defeat Tyson inside the allotted time. When talking about Jake's victory over Mike Perry, Ali said that some of the knockdowns were really impressive and brutal. He also said that Jake seemed to be getting better with every fight. Ali was excited about the upcoming fight between Jake and Mike Tyson and predicted that it might go similarly, pointing out that Tyson is 30 years older than Jake. Although Mike Ty is nearly 60 years old and Jake is, 30 years younger, I feel like it might look similar to that, but I'll do my best. Jake seems to be getting better every fight, so I'm interested to watch him battle Mike Ty. Mike Perry against Jake Paul MMA. Paul Jake Mike Perry in his underwear. Jake Paul against Nate Dim after defeating Perry. Jake is performing incredibly well. Unexpectedly, PA challenged Alex Pereira, the current UFC light heavyweight world champion. Though he recently signed an 8-year contract extension with the organization, the Brazilian fighter, who also held the middleweight title, is not expected to be let go by UFC CEO Dana White. Nevertheless, Ali gave Paul a glimmer of hope in his quest to take on the formidable champion. Ali called out Alex Pereira, speculating that the fight with Pereira would only take place if Dana White decides to allow it, expressing frustration over seeing Jake defeat UFC fighters. Ali pictured Alex Pereira and Jake Paul fighting, highlighting Pereira's considerable strength, but also pointing out that he frequently throws punches from his hips, leaving him susceptible. He likened this to Mike Perry, whose exposed chin and unbalanced posture made him an easy target. Okay, guys, what will happen to Jake Paul next? Jake Paul is fighting Mike Tyson in November or December, and I believe he has a bout already scheduled. Alex Pereira, unless Dana declares, I'm tired of seeing Jake beat all these UFC guys. I'm giving it imagine. That fight will not take place. In the match between Alex Pereira and Jake Paul, the latter has incredible strength in both hands, but the former actually throws from his hips as if he's not there to be hit. This was a major flaw in Mike Perry, who was there to be hit because his chin was floating while he was throwing punches and unsteady. Additionally, O'Malley commended Jake for his strategic planning, emphasizing that the most important thing after a fight is setting up future opportunities, which Jake excels at. He pointed out that Jake is already scheduled to fight Tyson and is actively calling out his next opponents. Alex B is what dude I met, and that dude is scary big. His hand was like 4 of my hands. Although Ali praised Jake's commitment to boxing, hard work, and high caliber of performance, he pointed out that fans want to see Jake take on the best fighters in the world. According to Ali, it is difficult to determine Jake's true potential until he takes on a fighter ranked in the top 30. Jake is currently leading the pack in terms of calling out who will fight next. Already has a fight scheduled, so he's doing a great job at that. Jake desires to win. I'm not even sure what weight class you're in, cruiserweight, but it's difficult to envision you competing against the real world's greatest men, or at least close to them. Jake's boxing prowess is undeniable. He is a highly motivated and skilled boxer, but it's difficult to gauge just how excellent he is unless you see him compete against someone in the top, even top 30. Meanwhile, following Jake Paul's impressive 6th-round knockout of Mike Perry and his daring challenges to both Mike Tyson and UFC champion Alex Pereira, Darren Till swiftly stepped up as a potential backup opponent in case Tyson is unable to compete in November. He stated that Pereira is under contract and Mike Tyson is in no fit state. If 58-year-old Mike Tyson is unable to make it to the ring in November, another MMA superstar is ready and waiting for the opportunity to silence the troublesome teenager once and for all. I'm here and I'm going to say nothing more. I'll wait for the call, even though he said he wouldn't comment further until he gave an interview to Submission Radio a few hours later. He discussed the Paul versus Perry boxing match and the potential of fighting the problem child himself. I didn't even watch the fight, but from the clips I've seen, it was atrocious. It was just low-level striking. I am the same size and weight. Are we fighting or not, as I honestly don't even know what Mike was doing in there. I'm genuinely very stunned. Jake Paul was gassed after the first round. Prior to making his boxing ring debut on the main card of Social Knockout 3 in the United Arab Emirates, both Jake and Mike were awful. However, their victory was clouded by controversy when a fight broke out in the ring after his opponent decided not to press charges. When asked about any correspondence from Paul's team regarding the November Netflix event, Mike admitted that, despite being a perfect backup opponent, his calls had gone unanswered. He said nothing at all because Jake Paul will not fight me. At 6 feet 1 inch and 225 pounds, I can box like. Jake Paul says he won't fight me, and I've heard nothing at all. My offer is that you are extremely fortunate that he won't fight me because I would seriously injure him in the boxing ring. Why does the former UFC fighter believe he can challenge the problem child in the ring? To put it plainly, I'd be too technical.